God rest ye merry gentlemen, may nothing you dismay. For the content on N-SightMSG is changing for Let's Plays. It's moving from echoes to fates as we all go astray. Oh. I don't know what I'm doing here. Hello everybody, welcome to this little announcement video. This is a little impromptu. I bet you can already tell behind me that I am going to be talking about Fire Emblem, but specifically Fire Emblem related. I'm making a switch, if you will, not in a punny way, because it is not the Switch content that I'm switching up, but I am making a switch over to Fire Emblem Fates instead of Echoes. There are a couple of reasons for this. One, when I went into, hang on, let me explain what I mean. I am taking a break from Echoes, so no Echoes at all whatsoever. I need to get away from the game just to relax and stop being so stressed out. And I feel playing Fire Emblem Fates on more of a daily basis will allow me to be able to relax, enjoy myself, get a little bit of energy out there. And the Fire Emblem Fates Let's Play that I've already started recording has gone on pretty well. I've gotten a couple of people to come in and do some edits here and there, whatever you want to call it. But we are going to be doing the Fire Emblem Fates walkthrough. I'm going through all 3 story modes and the DLC. I'll be going through all of the game 100% of the way through it. Amiibo, Street Pass functionality, multiplayer. I'll even do a couple matches online, maybe. I don't know. But regardless, I do have that in place. I will be showing off everything that I can. Everything I want to will be available here at the very beginning. Like this, that, the other. Echoes, in a sense, I just need to get a break from. There's a specific reason for that. I'm not a hardcore Fire Emblem fan, and I'm starting to play hardcore, and I'm not and hear me out. I'm not comfortable with that kind of. I'm not comfortable with that kind of gameplay. It's getting me out of my comfort zone. I understand, yes, but it's too far out of my comfort zone. It's not something that I'm willing to keep playing for long periods of time, like Disgaea 5, which I got into recently when it got to the Switch. Fire Emblem Fates, which I've been into since it came out on the 3DS. Fire Emblem Awakening, which that was my first Fire Emblem game, and I've yet to put it down since, and I'm on my completionist run of that. That is intense, by the way. Do not try that at home. Same thing with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which I'll always be able to go back to. I say go back to. It's like, I'll be able to pick it back up when the Amiibo come out later. The Majora's Mask and Skyward Sword Amiibo, come out later. It's just the level of depth that Echoes does to change up the gameplay. I'm not familiar with the difficulty of that game at all whatsoever, so that huge spike dead center of Act 3 threw me for a loop big time. I was not ready for it. I was not prepared for it. I had no clue what I was getting into or how in-depth it could have been, and I'm not willing to go back to it yet. I will go back to it eventually. Probably about the time that we finish Fire Emblem Fates, I'll be doing more recordings for Fire Emblem Echoes, but I don't feel like going back to it. Now, you guys can say what you want. Hey, you're a quitter, you're this, you're that. I'm not quitting. I'm just taking a break from it. It's something that is stressing me out, and when things stress people out, including creators or the creative types, it wears on their psyche a little. It wears them down to the point where they can't continue playing the games, going along this journey that we're a part of. Aside from all of that, I do think that this game has a lot of depth to it. There's no denying that. That is a fine way to implement that into the system. The problem with the game, in my opinion, is that it's just too hard for me.
And not too hard as in I will never complete it, but it's too hard for me to complete in a fashionable manner without grinding. And I do a ton of grinding whenever I play a game. Not to the point where I'm overpowered, but so that I still have a bit of a challenge, but it's balanced back and forth. So Fire Emblem Fates Conquest, or not Conquest, but Fire Emblem Fates in general, when each level is balanced based on your highest level unit and your lowest level unit that you bring out to the field, it is very well, or your overall level in that sense, it is very well balanced. You go to a DLC chapter early on, you can complete the DLC chapter no problem. You go to, and most of the DLC isn't based on like you have to complete it at a certain point. If it's using specific characters in a story aspect, if they don't give you the characters the exact same the entire time, they up the enemies for future plays down the line. So if you immediately play the DLC right as soon as you complete Chapter 6, you can play it then. It's not going to change the difficulty too much. But it will be a challenge because you have few units. Now, that's not to say it won't be unbeatable, because let's face it, they make Before Awakening, one of the DLC chapters, completely beatable within that time. They make the grinding chapters beatable within that time, and they don't make it so that you're overwhelmed by enemies in any of the DLC. It's balanced in that way. Fire Emblem Echoes, not so much. There's a lot more uncertainty in that sense. Or a lot harder of a, it's a harder challenge. I understand that. Going back to it in this sense, I don't feel like I'd be able to take care of it that much without it damaging my not my head physically, but just it's putting stress on my brain, and it is making me a little more snappy, if you will. And not snappy as in like, hey, snazzy. No. Besides, I can't snap. Or snappy as in like, hey, girl. No, that's just smooth, if you will. No, snappy, like I'm getting angry, I'm getting a little more agitated at the little things in life. It's something that I need to take a break from, and I honestly hate to do that. I hate to have to set the game aside because I've liked playing it. But the past 3 episodes that I recorded, back to back to back, it was bad episode after bad episode after bad episode. And I mean to the point where I was like, it was stressing me out and I was not having fun during that segment. I have to take a break from Echoes. I plan to continue that playthrough with you guys. If you want to continue that playthrough when I continue, that's fine. Just like leave a comment below or follow the playlist or whatever. If you follow the playlist, you'll know when new videos get added to that playlist. I'm hoping to at least get a little bit of time to relax, enjoy myself for a little bit, even if it's just an easier strategy game in general. But there are a few changes that I have to do for my own benefit in that sense. So, I'm going to go ahead and lay down the few rules for the Fire Emblem Fates walkthrough so that I don't have to lay them down in the beginning, because I forgot to. 1, I'm showing all the DLC, all of the storyline content, every single path, every single level, except for the grinding missions. So I'll do the EXP, gold, and weapons grinding missions one time each. That is it. No more, no less. That is how I'm going to do it. I will do it at the very end of the game, where they are not necessarily as useful. I have a lot of troops on the field, and I'd be able to work through it a little easier. And the weapons that I would get at that time, I could get a few more of in that sense. Now, bringing it back to the second rule. The second rule, classic mode. I am going to be playing the game in classic mode. Normal, but classic mode. Why am I playing it in classic mode and not casual, Phoenix, whatever? I feel like because I always play casual mode and I'm used to units coming back, I've gotten to know the game a little too well, to the point where I'm just like, I'm not too worried about that. If they die in the level, they die there, and I can just bring them back afterward. With classic mode, I'm able to keep the units going, but it makes me plan around it. I don't want to be stuck in a place where I can't use any of my units whatsoever because I made a couple mistakes. It makes me play a little more cautiously, and it allows me to do one video for every chapter because I'm playing more cautiously. I'm weighing the benefits and the doubts and everything. The other segment is I will have a different protagonist each time. The first one for Birthright is speed-based, the second one for Conquest is attack-based, and the third one for Revelation is magic-based. I believe that's what it is, I'm not sure. I haven't had a chance to go in and double-check, but because all of them are going to be played on Classic mode, it does matter what classes I'm changing into. So it will vary the gameplay a little bit. All of them have specialized names. The one dude out of all three main protagonists is going to be the Conquest file. The Birthright and Revelation file are both female. There you go. Everybody has a different voice actor, actress. Everybody has a different body build. That's whatever you want to call it. Regardless, I don't have a set, like, cast of who I want to relationship with who. That is just gonna be whoever I find at that point. That's it at that rule. And the third rule, I'm not permitted. Hang on, I am not permitted to do any online grinding for materials, foods, gemstones, none of that until the end of the game and the final boss has been beaten. I can only do that if there's a specific weapon that I'm going for, if there's a specific this thing, that thing, whatever. No grinding at all whatsoever, even at Birthright and Revelation. I cannot do any grinding. So at that point, there you go. Invasions on the castle will be taken care of as they pop up, but those will be at the beginning of a chapter video. They will be a part of a chapter video in that sense. Aside from that, I believe that is everything. I am sorry for those of you who were watching Echoes and really wanted me to continue the game and you don't like Fates at all whatsoever, and I'm sorry for those people. There may be like one or two of you out there who do not want to watch the Fates walkthrough. I've already recorded it. If my tongue can stay in the game, I can't even. Okay, if my tongue can stay in the game for a little bit, that would be great. I know some of you are going to be like, I don't want to watch this. It may be fun. It may be a fun way to, spice things up. Like, some people play casual mode. Some people play Phoenix mode. I find Phoenix mode way too easy. Even on Insanity, alright? Even on Lunatic mode. Lunatic Plus mode. Phoenix mode is just too easy. Classic mode is a little harder because if your main unit dies, you die, and you die for real. It's just game over. All units, any unit dies, they're dead for real. I had one board where everybody was eliminated. I had a round in casual mode where everyone on the field was eliminated, and it cost me the match. It really cost me the match at that point. Aside from that, I believe that is everything. No other rules. I'll see you all guys in the next few episodes of Echoes and the start of Fire Emblem Fates walkthrough. In this case, playthrough, walkthrough, whatever. It's not a complete guide, but it is it is as in depth of a guide as I'm willing to go. Anyway, till next time, guys. I'll be right here.